My name is Robin Lee. I'm a sophomore at Boston College. I am majoring in secondary education and history with a minor in English.
My name's Ian. I'm a sophomore at Rice University studying finance and philosophy, and I was part of the KS class of 2023.
Hi, I'm Harry, class of 2023 from KIS. Um, I go to Amherst College. I'm a sophomore. I'm double majored in biology and theater and dance.
So we've gotten couple of questions on the summer leading up to college. So I just wanted to ask, what did you guys do during this time? Did you guys go to orientation or visit your schools or have any other activities to prepare for college?
I honestly didn't really do much specifically to prepare for college, and I don't regret it. I know a lot of folks at this time are understandably pretty nervous, but honestly, I did not prepare very much specifically for my college, and I went in pretty much blind, and it turned out being I feel like putting more preparation into it can actually increase the anxiety. So I went in, and I decided I'm just gonna take things as they are, and I ended up enjoying my time coming into BC more that way.
I have a little bit of a different answer. So I interned at the local congresswoman's office, a little internship in government, and I moved in early to Rice actually. And it was interesting seeing like Rice beforehand, but if I'm being honest, in hindsight, I wish I hadn't. Just because like spending time with friends and family, that's invaluable. Now, like since we're in college, you only get to see your family like once for a couple of weeks in May, and then you have to go back to the US to intern or do something professional to help your career. So honestly, I wish I had spent that time that summer before college, just hanging out, chilling, traveling, and spending time with family. So that'd be my one piece of advice.
Did any of you like already know about your campus or like the area you're going to, or was that also an experience that you kind of enjoyed?
I think I wish I had done like a little bit more research, but honestly, uh, I feel like the extra preparation, again, you can't sacrifice spending time with your family or friends who you only get to see maybe now once or twice a year now that we're in college. So I think that's definitely I'm sticking with my answer. That was more of the move for me.
As for me, so I didn't know much about Amherst College other than the fact that it was a very small liberal arts college and borderline in the middle of nowhere. But that's honestly, I'd say that's all you really need to know. Just know like just know like okay, like first off, very important thing is your college religious? Is your is the campus big? Is there a lot of people in the campus? And that's I'd say that's honestly all you should really know. I had a lot of fun walking on campus and having no idea what the hell was going on, like genuinely, and kind of like and meeting some people and like figuring out as like a group of people, just kind of wandering the streets for the first time. Like there's some level of enjoyment to that, and I will say, your summer before you go to college will be one of the last times for a while you will get to have the joy of having nothing to do, of having no responsibilities. And I would say don't burn it because even I think I used my summer very well in the way that I got a lot of rest. And I'm already like and like after every single semester we get I don't know about I can't speak for everyone, but I can get very close to burning out because of the amount of work that college can give. So yeah, enjoy your break, like genuinely, like that's all I can really say.
Guys, I have a follow-up question. We've got a really big school, kind of a mid-sized school, and a really small school, in the panel. Did the size of the school and even the location have anything to do with your decision? And now that you're living it, is it what you had hoped for?
Speaking for the mid-sized school, BC, I actually ended up choosing between a mid-sized school, BC, a larger school in BU, and a smaller school in Emerson. All three just happened to be in Boston, so location wasn't really too much of an issue. But I do think I wanted to go to a more mid-sized school. Location aside, given that they are all very close to each other, Like they're all on the same subway line here. Uh, I think I wanted to choose a mid-sized school because once I looked into it, once I saw the student size, uh, I know class like professor to student ratio is like a statistic that we pay attention to when we're applying to colleges. That was something that I was drawn to, and the idea of like going to a school where a lot of the classes I knew were going to be somewhat smaller, especially in my fields of study, like especially in education, where the classes are a little bit smaller. That was a major draw to me, and I think that's ultimately what helped push BC over the top.
So Amherst College, very small school. I knew this going in. I It's what drew me to Amherst to begin with, and I don't regret my decision at all. It's just so student to professor ratio, that kind of thing. At this point, I can genuinely not imagine how I would be at a big school because our biggest class, even if you stretch it to like the absolute, like almost everyone takes these classes, like for example, the intro level chemistry, that had like 80 people in it. That was the most we got. Most classes have 15 or less. I so like for example, last semester I took disease ecology. That was 13 people. This semester I'm taking a play reading class called Destroying the Classic. That has 4 people. And I personally really like it that way because you can get a lot of help. Like obviously some people are going to be like, "Oh, I don't want the professor breathing down my neck." And yeah, obviously, but also you want to have the support you get, and that's something that I valued a lot. And because of that, like for example, like when I was struggling in a stats class because I couldn't for the life of me find out how to code, the professor actually reached out to me and was like, "Oh, you're failing. Let's deal with that." And it was something it's just those kinds of interactions that I just really appreciated. So, yeah, small school, you'll get a lot of that. You will not be able to just freely miss class and get off the hook because I've heard some people actively take absences and their professors going like, "Hey, why were you not here today?" So, obviously, if that's something that you don't want, then don't go to a small school. If you don't mind that, yeah.
I would like to think at least Rice Business is a small school in the sense that we only have like 100 people in our major per grade. So it's like roughly the same size as KS or smaller. But from that perspective, I think, as Harry mentioned, it helps academically that you have smaller classes. I just find myself sometimes in larger lectures, it's a little easier to skip. It's a little easier to do something else on your computer. But when you're in that small classroom setting, you're really just forced to be present in the moment, or else your professor will know. So I think from an academic standpoint, it helps keep you accountable. But on the flip side, I think just for my personality and like who I am, from a social aspect, I kind of wish I went to a larger school in the sense that it would have allowed me to meet more people, get more involved, and really just expand my network that way. So, from a social perspective, I wish I went to a larger school, but maybe the grass isn't always greener in the sense that from an academic perspective, it helps keep me accountable. So,
A lot of uh, the results from the poll were that a lot of people are curious about whether like you guys work or like have an internship. So can you guys kind of talk about that?
So, I work part-time. I've cycled through a lot of different part-time jobs here at BC. I mean, I used to work in human resources as a front desk person. I used to work at the call center, and now I'm working a desk job and in maintenance at the library or the multiple libraries that we have on campus. So it's definitely, in my experience, working, mostly a desk job at one of the research libraries we have at BC. It's pretty easy for me to like balance having work and having work that I do on the side and my schoolwork, uh, because I can, do my homework at the desk. For most jobs, it probably won't be as easy. I know when I was working at the call center, I could get some reading done, but it was honestly really distracting. I had a lot going on. So I think fine, it's not essential to work a job starting like your freshman year. I think give yourself time to adjust. I started working the spring of my freshman year, and that was honestly, it kind of ate into the time I had for homework or doing social things. So I would say it's not imperative that, you know, you just hit the ground and you immediately find a job or an internship. Those things will happen and those will happen naturally, and you'll decide if those are right for you at the time you're living in.
As for me, I worked at the front desk of my business school on my freshman year. And this past fall, I worked at the Rice University Endowment because it was related to something I was interested in, which is asset management. If it's a job you're doing because you think it's very related to your relevant field, I would say it doesn't matter how much you're getting paid, do it and work really hard at it because at this stage in our lives, as young 20-year-olds just entering the field, gaining skills is all that really matters, and it doesn't really matter how much you're getting paid to do that. So that's my 2 cents on it.
The question was kind of like these things you do in high school, like hobbies or like extracurriculars or just stuff you do for fun. Like have those continued or have you just found something new?
I would say for the most part, I in high school I did a couple different clubs, and most of them did not survive all the way through college. But in college, I stuck with mock trial, which is something that I did when I was at KIS. I made the team, and I'm still on there. I've made my closest friends through my mock trial team at BC. So I've that's something I found time for. Started I write for one of the student magazines at BC, the Gavel, and that's something that I'm really passionate about. So I would say it's really difficult to stick with, all the different things that you do when you're in high school, right? Because I know in KIS we have like was it three different clubs? Like you have to be in like you're in three different clubs Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If those are really involved clubs where you're doing a lot of work or maybe you have like leadership positions, like you're probably not going to stick with all of them your freshman year of college. It's really good to experiment and like try out for a bunch of different clubs, especially your freshman and sophomore years. But I mean, truth is, if you want to be really involved with any of them, then you're probably going to have to narrow it down and stick to just a couple. So I have, a couple extracurriculars that I'm really involved in and really dedicated to. And that on top of, having a job and being a full-time student, that does take up most of my time. But there is always time to do the things that you care about, even if it's not for a club or an organization, even if you're not getting paid for it. You can always you can always make time to do things, especially if you care about them. You just have to find the time.
So, what I would recommend you guys to do is just try some stuff out. Your freshman year can be spent experimenting. Like, for example, I never imagined I would get into an a cappella group, and I'm now in an a cappella group and a beatboxer for said a cappella group. Like, you will surprise yourself. So, as for the theater side, I wouldn't necessarily call that extracurricular anymore. It's one of my majors. And if you decide to devote that much time into something, you will get way more out of it. Like for example, like next semester, I am set to be doing a pretty big junior project for the department in performing a main part in a pretty sizable play. And but other than that, like obviously you can still pursue certain things at a lower level. Like you could be part of clubs. There are club sports. You don't have to be a part of a big team and competing competitively. And also like the small things you like doing, you can always find time for them. Like for example, like I get really busy, but I have a group of friends that we meet weekly, play D&D every week. So like you'll be able to find the time to do the small things.
Did you start with the same majors or have you changed majors?
So Amherst is interesting in that you don't enter with a major. You enter undecided no matter what. and you have to have a major by the end of your sophomore year. I declared early to get my advisors because I felt fairly confident on what I was going to do, and it ended up changing slightly. So I initially applied as a biochemistry, biophysics as one major and the theater as the other. And then I realized that chemistry is not that fun. Compared, like it's fine. Chemistry is fine, but compared to bio, it is not that fun. That's what I found out for myself. And that's how I ended up dropping the chemistry half of that major and going to bio. And that was like, I mean, like my initial major selection was already questionable to my parents, admittedly, but like not much has changed. And they're like, well, you're still on your same path. So, like, yeah, fine.
I did not apply to colleges as an education major. That was something I picked. I was only like a history major. And then I went to college and I started thinking, oh, maybe I want to start taking education classes. So I added a minor in secondary education. And then that worked its way up to a major because the course requirements were pretty much the same. So I decided I might as well transfer and become an education major. And now I love student teaching so much that I'm volunteering at high schools now. So like this is something I would not have pictured for myself like 2 years ago when I was in high school. I didn't even know I wanted to teach. But now this is something that like I've that's like I don't know, it's part of my personality now. Like it's become very important to me, and it's something I did not know what happened when I was 17 or 18. It only happened because I decided, hey, what the heck, I'm gonna try this out.
I was always gonna major in business, but I think I had a philosophy double major. Decided to switch to data science because I thought it'd be more useful, and then ultimately decided to switch to a philosophy minor. So I'm minoring in philosophy, majoring in finance. Disappointed my parents a little bit when I told them I didn't want to be pre-law a little bit, but then I got my investment banking offer and they were fine with it. So I guess it worked out.
Talking a little bit more about your futures, um, I know a lot of students at KIS are going to the army, Korean army, and I was just wondering if you guys are making that decision on when to go or if you guys are even going.
Personally, for guys who have to do military service, like I have to do it next year, so based on my opinions, I wouldn't say it's always bad because for those of you who's trying to pursue medical or dental school or even law school, you guys would have to take another LSAT or DAT or MCAT, any of those admission tests that you guys have to prepare for. And it might be a bit burdening doing that during the school years. So for me, I'm trying to go to the military, plan it out going in somewhere around August, and then by the time you come out, you would have a few months before even starting your next academic year. So if you plan it out right, you might earn you some time to study for it, but really depends on what your future career you're choosing to be.
Guys, I have a question about the importance of orientation. You know, really learning about the school procedures. Did you go through the whole fall orientation and was it beneficial, or could you have learned all of that stuff someplace else?
I would say orientation is important just because you get to experience the campus and in a kind of sheltered way because obviously it's a very structured sort of tour. But you do get to know your way, you get to go around campus and you get to talk with, at the very least, talk with people who maybe they're doing the same activities as you or they plan on doing the same activities. Maybe they plan on uh, having the same major or minor as you. So being able to, I think, I mean, this is the finance word, but network, being able to network, uh, ugh, it just feels weird saying it, but being able to network and make connections with people is definitely something that's important. You can even get potentially job opportunities out of it. I did that. I did not end up taking that job, but I talked to someone who ended up their parent ran a tutoring company. So that was a complete coincidence. And even though it didn't end up happening, uh, my name's still on the website. So that's what I can say for the value of orientation. You get to meet people.
Do each of you have, one statement of advice or things to, really propel our seniors into the summer and then into the fall semester that you'd like to share?
Just wanted to put it out there. Happy to be a resource for any of our seniors pursuing finance as a career. Recruiting starts really early, so feel free to reach out to Mr. Lindbergh for my contact information on how we can grow out that scene.
This is the last break you're gonna get for a while. Enjoy it.
I would say for me, I know I said this before, but as cliche as it is, and how many times you're going to hear it again and again in your lives, uh, honestly, do follow your dreams. Like you only get a chance to follow them once, so make sure you follow them.
And agreeing with Robin, uh, I feel like, knowing what you want to pursue as a career, or just in university as general is pretty important because I ended up changing my major by following the, major or a course that I found really interesting, and then studying something that you might not enjoy for the rest of your 4 years of university might come painful. So just before going in and starting your year, I'll just try to find out what you really find interesting and what your passion is inside of you.